Welcome to Boy Time Podcast. We're gonna get litty time, yeah. Oh, it's your Boy Time Podcast. Coming in with the slam dunk of a theme song.
Hi ho ho, it's me, Shmi Skywalker, back at it again with a new episode of the Boy Time Podcast, and as always, I'm joined by Babby and Paul.
Yes, boy.
I think we started last week's podcast by saying we have an on and off relationship with Paul. Well, today it's on.
Let's go.
Baby.
Oh, yeah. And, at least for the next month, we should be good.
That's what you say, but
Yeah. We'll see.
we'll see. But you're always welcome. It's always a good time to have Paul on here. We actually have some hot takes, maybe. We'll see.
Hot take.
Because Paul's been playing Elden Ring.
Oh, yeah.
So we're finally going to be getting a second opinion on what some have called the best game ever made. I don't know who that some is, but I'm assuming that they have said that. But we'll get there when we get there.
No rushing.
Yeah, as a whole, this week has been pretty g-dang slow. I have one bit of news, and it's nothing I'm really super passionate about, but I did play the original game, so I thought I would bring it up. And then I have to talk about Lego Star Wars, because that came out last Tuesday, and I have some opinions on it. Both good and bad. It's not, I guess the TLDR, it's not perfect. I've seen some people say that this is the best Lego game ever. I still have a soft spot for the complete saga, and I think having the sequels in the new Lego Star Wars game really brings it down, because it doesn't fix how bad those movies are. I guess you could say the same thing about the prequels, too. So I really enjoyed the original trilogy stuff. I somewhat enjoyed the prequel stuff, and I really did not like the sequel stuff when it came to the game. But I'll go a little bit more in depth when we get there.
Yeah.
But that was about it. I do have a Boy of the Week. We haven't had one of these in a while. I don't even know if we've had one.
While.
Yeah, I don't know if we've even had one since we've made our transition into Spotify and stuff. But it used to be a thing where I would find someone on YouTube, or I guess just in general, someone who's doing some good stuff, and give them a little shout out. I guess I could have given one a couple weeks ago, because Humble Bumble did like a big for Ukraine charity bundle where it was like $3,000 worth of games and books and stuff, and it was
That'd
all
be company of the week, though.
that would be company of the week. But Humble Bumble does do some good stuff. A lot of good stuff for charity in the gaming community. So I did buy the bundle. I donated $40. So I guess you could say I'm like a good guy all of a sudden.
You earned yourself some good karma.
I did. I got some good karma, and now I can play Satisfactory, which, by the way, is a little bit too much fun for what I thought it was. Because, I played, Tech-It and stuff, where it's like you have to, make a factory in Minecraft, and I always suck at that stuff. Like, that stuff has never really appealed to me. But if you make it like an isolated game and make it kind of streamlined, then it works really well. I fully endorse Satisfactory. It's a little bit buggy, but it's early access, so I guess that can be, it's fine. They'll fix it maybe. Or maybe not.
In your opinion, it is satisfactory.
My opinion is satisfactory.
After
The jokes keep coming on the Boy Time Podcast. And
They just keep coming.
do I have a lot of jokes. Speaking of jokes, check out our Twitter.
Oh, that's a joke.
Wow, that is very rude. My Twitter
Says
is
speaking jokes. Come on, man.
my Twitter is very funny. The Boy Time Twitter, most of the time it's me dogging on Joe Rogan, but the other 25% of the time it's actually making some funny jokes, in my opinion. So, and I guess we do also announce when new podcasts and music videos are up on the main channel. So go follow that. It's at BoyTimeYT. So check it out. But let's jump into some meat and potatoes,
Meat and potato.
as our friends across the pond would say. I guess they would say, let's get into the beans on the toast, if we were
Probably more accurate.
Yeah. We had a little bit of Rockstar news, kind of. They had a game called Max Payne. They actually made 3 of them, but the third one's not as good as the first 2. And I guess Remedy, who is the studio that brought us Alan Wake, they also did that Control game like a couple years ago, and they're making Alan Wake 2. But I guess they have a branch that's working with Rockstar to remake the first Max Payne game. So I guess we'll see how that goes. I played Max Payne 1. It's pretty edgy, but the slow-mo shooting stuff is kind of cool. So I guess we'll see how that goes. That one was just announced, so no gameplay or any footage or even a screenshot of what it looks like. It's just in development. So I guess Max Payne fans have that to look forward to, except they're probably upset that it's not Max Payne 4. I don't know, we'll see. But Alan Wake also got remastered, and then they made a sequel. So I guess we'll see if this leads into something else. Is Alan Wake 2 out yet?
I don't think so.
I feel like that game's been in development for like a couple years now.
It might be holiday this year.
It's coming out in 2023.
Okay, next year.
Next year.
Close enough.
Yeah. I still haven't played the first one. I know it's on Steam now, so I might give it a shot. Or is it on Game Pass? I think it's on Game Pass.
It might be on Game Pass. Or there was like I don't know if it was a DLC or like a spin-off game that was on Game Pass. I don't know if the actual one's on there now.
Oh. Yeah, I'll have to try it out. Because isn't that game more like a third-person shooter, kind
It's
of?
a third-person mystery. It's spooky stuff.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they said Alan Wake 2 is more survival horror.
Yeah, the first one's more mystery, like solving stuff.
Okay. I can get into that.
Things. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I do like a mystery. So I guess we'll see. I might check it out. And then I might see how this Max Payne thing is. I think it's a remake, so it's not a remaster. So it's going to be a Blue Point style remake. So I guess we'll see how that goes. I do like the original Max Payne. I think the Steam version has some issues with audio that you have to like fix, or you have to like dig through the game files and try to fix it. It's one of those games, because it's so old. But yeah, check it out if you are into dark, edgy. It's like a detective thriller where like his wife and
Like Alan Wake.
kind of like Alan Wake, except made by Rockstar early. This would have been like GTA Vice City 3 era Rockstar.
Ooh, that's wild.
Yeah, they're old. They're definitely old games. Like the first 2 were made like right after each other, and then Max Payne 3 was made, I think, before GTA 5. So it's like a little bit newer, but it isn't like the best thing ever. I think it was on the 360. So check it out. And then, I don't know, should we talk about Elden Ring or should we talk about Lego Star Wars first?
I don't know. You're the host.
Okay,
I
fine.
think.
Fine. We'll talk about Lego Star Wars then, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, so after like, what is it? I think it's been like 4 years since the first trailer. We've had 2 or 3 major delays. The Lego Star Wars Skywalker saga is here. And, you know, a lot of questions. Is it better than the complete saga? Is it buggy? Is it unfinished? Because that's a lot of delays. I mean, it was originally supposed to come out fall of 2020, and it came out April 5th, 2022. So that's a long delay.
Just a bit of a delay.
Yeah.
That's all.
I mean, I'm glad that they delayed it because for the most part, it's been pretty smooth sailing. It's not completely bug-free. I have exited hyperspace a couple times, and then it's just a white screen, which does soft lock the game. So that is a little unfortunate. But I've only had that happen a couple times, and I've jumped out of hyperspace a lot. So for the most part, pretty good. I think I mentioned last week that that the Darth Maul level is called Better Call Maul, which I don't know what kid is going to get that reference, but there's even more of those. The level where you're on Starkiller Base in The Force Awakens, that's called Starkiller Queen. Some kids might get that because it's a Queen reference, and Queen is... I mean, it's not in right now. It was in like 5 years ago when Bohemian Rhapsody came out.
Always in.
It's always in. We got the Copa Katana, which I think is supposed to be a play on the Copacabana, which is like, I guess it's an 80s song, so I guess some people might know that. And then I think this one is the most shocking one. An episode in Return of the Jedi. It's called the Chewbacca Defense, which is a South Park reference. A very early South Park reference. I'm pretty sure it's a play on Johnny Cochran, who was a lawyer in the OJ trial. And I know it's like an actual legal defense term now. Like it's become a thing where if a lawyer is like trying to confuse the jury instead of like refuting the claims made by the other lawyer on the other side, then that's called the Chewbacca defense. So I don't know what kid is going to be getting these references, but I enjoyed it. I was shocked when I saw the Chewbacca defense thing. Like no kid is watching a South Park. Hopefully.
Except we know that they all are.
But it looks like a kid's show.
I guess a kid's show that's like half done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I played through the story. I've beaten all the episodes at this point. And that's probably not even like a fifth of what the game has in store. I went through and played free play, and free play in this game is not done, or not done to the extent that the original Lego game had, or I guess even other Lego games. Because if you've had any experience with a Lego game in the past, you know after you beat the whole game, you can go back through all the levels in free play, and then there's a bunch of like, you know, specific things that maybe a certain character can do that you aren't able to do in story mode, where you're only playing as people who are actually in the movie at that part.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah, you go into free play and you can't pick what character you play as when you start it up. Yeah, so you just do free play, and then it says, "Are you sure you want to play free play?" And I say, "Yes." And then it just loads in. And when you do free play, all of the cutscenes are still in there, which most of the like rendered cutscenes you can skip, but there's also like moments in the game where there's like dialogue bits, so then it will switch you back to the story character so that it can do like an in-game cutscene, and it's like, man, I'm trying to get mini kits, and this is really frustrating. In addition to that, I guess this is probably the only similarity to Rockstar, but in I guess both GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2, as you're playing through story missions. You can get like gold, silver, and bronze, and there's like these like secret level objectives where it's like complete it in under 8 minutes and 45 seconds, or get 23 headshots, or like there might be like some more specific ones where it's like tow the car in like 2 minutes and 30 seconds by the time you get the tow truck. And now the Lego Star Wars has level things now. And yeah, I shit you not. I have probably had to do like the same mission 2 or 3 times because they are like so specific to like certain parts of the story. So it's like impossible to just like 100% any given level on your first go. You basically have to like do it, and then you're like, oh, that's where I'm supposed to do that, but I missed my opportunity because it's like a 2-second long thing that I'm supposed to shoot where it shows up on screen and then it disappears. And it's like, oh, well, okay, now I'll have to be ready for that. And then you do it again, and then it's like, oh, that was so fast that I missed it. And there's a lot of stuff like that where it's a little bit frustrating to get those little level objectives. So yeah, I have 100%ed all the levels. I just did that today. I finished it up. I did Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi today. 100%ed that. And now I'm going on to the open world, which I have to say is probably the best part of this game. The story missions were way too fast. Like, I probably beat like Attack of the Clones in like maybe 20 minutes because the levels are so short, and then the open world segments that tie those levels together are just like fly to this place and then go to the level. To the point where I don't know if you haven't seen these movies, if you would really understand what's happening. Which, you know, I don't think like you necessarily needed to know all of the plot points when you play the complete saga. But if they're going out of the way to get voice actors to voice all these characters instead of the mumble mode, which everybody I think prefers instead of voice acting, then you should probably at least make it a little bit truer to the movie and flesh it out a little more. I know this was a COVID project, so I don't know if this game meant to be like super ambitious and then it kind of got like cut down for time. And that's something that the complete saga had, is that it was a mash of 2 games, where the original Lego Star Wars was just the prequel trilogy. And so they had like enough time set aside and like, we are just focused on these 3 movies. We are going to flesh them out, have 6 levels to kind of like cover all of the story beats. Now in the Skywalker saga, there's only 5 levels for each episode. And then there are like little open world segments, which vary in size and scope. But yeah, it's not quite as fleshed out as I think they want it to be. But as I've been like flying around all these different planets in the open world and just kind of like finding like, you know, new characters to unlock, new ships to unlock, getting some Kyber bricks and new extras and stuff, like I'm really enjoying that part. We're just kind of going around in like different ships and stuff, and that's actually pretty fun. So I have been enjoying my time with the game, despite my many gripes I have with it. I don't know. I think I would actually prefer Lego Star Wars 3 over this, the Clone Wars one. But I do love the Clone Wars, so that is my little bit of bias. But
The Clone War.
yeah, I do want to bring up something that is very controversial. That is,
Oh, no.
while we're on the topic, because this game has been, I don't know. So, wait, have you guys heard about the controversy with Boba Fett's ship?
Nope.
Okay.
What? No.
Okay. Well, I didn't know how much it transcended. Because
Not at all.
Okay. So, Boba Fett's ship, up until last year, I think officially, it has been Slave One. That is what it was when it was Jango Fett's ship also. So when Boba Fett took it over, it is still Slave One. They have changed the name. I don't know if this is, now that, companies just trying to be like, look, we're woke now. We're going to change something that's
Probably that.
insignificant instead of doing some actual stuff. This is Disney we're talking about.
Yeah, it's that.
So they changed it, and this is my main gripe with it. If you're gonna change it from Slave One to something else, that's fine. Slave One is it's an edgy name. It was from the 80s, so we get it. If you need to change it, at least make it something cool. Because
Oh, what they do?
they have been calling it either Boba Fett Starship. In this game, it's called Boba Fett Starship or Jango Fett Starship. Or in the book of Boba Fett, they called it his Fire Spray Starship, which is just the model. It would be like calling the Millennium Falcon. If we thought that was racist, then it would be like calling it this is Han's Corellian fighter or freighter. Be like that. That's not cool.
Just gets tiring to say.
It's very wordy. Just make it like Bosk's ship is the Hound's Tooth, or Cad's Bane's ship is the Xanadu Blood, and it's like those are cool. Those are some cool names, but it's like those two ships are there and they sound very epic, and then you have Boba Fett's Starship. It's like, come on, just can we agree on a name before we start branding everything as Boba Fett's Starship? Because that is so lame. But I guess this is also people got really upset when the sequels were coming out and they were selling toy lightsabers of Luke's lightsaber that Rey was using, and they called it Rey's lightsaber, and people were like, no, that's Luke's lightsaber, that's Anakin's lightsaber. I don't really care about that. But this I really care about, because I want it to sound cool still. And right now it doesn't sound cool. I'm fine with them changing it. Some people are really digging their heels in about it's Slave One, it will always be Slave One. Yeah, you can change it, because this isn't going to
Didn't
fix racism like Disney thinks it's going.
Didn't he fix racism?
I don't think
boys?
it's we're doing our part to stop racism by changing Boba Fett's starship in Star Wars. It's yeah, okay. Whatever.
Can't do it. No one can.
I know. Well, Disney can do it. They can, they make a lot of money for the states that their parks are in. They have political sway. So if they wanted to actually make change, then they could. But they're going to just do this they're going to be like, hey, we're doing our part by changing it to Slave One instead of actually doing something that helps people. So I guess that was my controversial topic. Just please give Boba Fett a cool name for his ship. I don't think that's too much to ask. I actually think that's the bare minimum. If you're going to change it, at least change it to something else, not just, that's Boba Fett's ship.
They're still workshopping it. Disney's a small indie company. They need time for this.
It's a very small company. But it's been a couple months. I guess we just don't know, because the Book of Boba Fett kind of came out, and then I think they were because here's the thing. I don't know how this started, because I don't think Disney has not gotten on their soapbox and been we are officially changing Boba Fett's ship. It has been they called it Boba Fett Starship on a toy or a Lego set or something, and then Star Wars fans got angry about it, and now Disney's kind of doubling down because they don't want to be on the side of Star Wars fans that are the Slave One isn't a racist name. I know, because I have a black friend, and stuff like that. So then
Least racist Star Wars fan.
So now Disney's well, we can't be associated with them. And we just put it on there because we don't want Slave One on children's packaging. which I think it's always been like that. Like, I don't know if I ever got Slave One in anything, but it was like I'm pretty sure it was always Boba Fett's starship for like children's toys, because you don't really want children walking around being like, I got this Slave One, because that could be misinterpreted out in public. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But in Lego Star Wars, it's called Boba Fett's Starship, and I was very upset because I am a racist, triggered racist. So yeah, there you go. That's Lego Star Wars. Check it out or don't. I don't think it's one that you necessarily need to rush to if you are like an outsider. If you are a fan of Lego Star Wars, I would say check it out. If you are a fan of Star Wars, this isn't necessarily one that you have to play. This is just recapping all the movies. It's kind of fun to play as General Grievous and throw bombs at people, but you know, do what you want.
You get it to be a Lego game, not a Star Wars game.
Yeah, if it's a straight Star Wars game and you're like a fan, then there's some people are just fans of like Star Wars trivia, and they have to play every single Star Wars game and they have to read every single Star Wars book or comic or audible drama.
Take the Star Wars lore.
They're big on that. Which I'm big on Star Wars trivia too, but I don't read books. Are you kidding me? What do I look like? Some sort of nerd? I just play video games, watch movies, listen to music, and make a podcast. And those are not...
I'm not like other people.
I'm not like other white guys.
We're unique.
And you play guitar.
And I play acoustic guitar and wear flannels and beanies.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that when I do wear beanies, I don't leave it unrolled, because that's like the white guy thing, to have like a saggy beanie on the back, You know what I'm talking about? I don't know if I'm doing...
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I don't see many people wear beanies.
Do you put it over your ears, though? Because a lot of people just, like, put it above their ears and then just, like, deletes the entire purpose of wearing it.
It looks like that kid who has his hoodie on and then he, like, tucks his ears, like, over the hoodie.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I put it over the ears. Yeah, I don't know why people do that. I think it looks rather goofy. I am more I'm more civilized.
Traditional.
I'm a little bit conservative in how I dress.
Flip it.
In how I dress, I said.
We don't do that here.
We don't
dress.
We don't dress.
Yeah, we don't dress here.
Brother.
What do you mean? You liberals are all about men wearing dresses. All you talk about is Harry Styles. Harry Styles, oh, he wears the dress. Post Malone wears a dress. That's all you guys talk about. Whatever happened to guys wearing suits and women wearing dresses? That was all a bit, in case that wasn't obvious. Nobody watches.
Dude, Twitch chat, please don't clip that.
Nobody clips this. Although I will say our podcast has been getting some views on YouTube, so don't. I know YouTube has a clip. YouTube has a clip button now.
Oh yeah, that's true. They do have a clip button.
But don't do it. Okay. Let's talk about Elden Ring.
Dude, yes.
Yes, dude. Elden Ring, the best game ever made. Paul has been playing it.
Indeed.
So, what do you think?
It's pretty good so far. As I expected, my very first Souls game, I am absolutely... Well, I'm still pretty bad at it. But I was really bad at it first, and so I decided, you know what? I don't care too much for the Souls-like. You need to fight the boss 200 times and then beat him. I'm just going to kind of grind a bit. And then so I'm a bit over-leveled for most things I do, but it's a bit more fun for me. I mean, I still take like 10 tries to kill things, but...
That's what I did too.
I've gone to... Earlier today, I beat Renala, Queen of the Full Moon.
Oh,
That's
okay.
how far I've gotten.
So you're pretty decently far in there now.
Yeah, I've got a good 32 hours in, which... Probably only like 3-4 hours of that maybe is grinding. I don't know. I actually found the spot accidentally. There's like, have you been to the what's the area? The like red area with like the dog dinosaurs.
Yeah.
You know that spot near the castle where there's like a mini battle that goes off?
Yes. Yeah.
That's an incredibly good farming spot. You can get like, I think killing all of them is like 5,000 runes, I think, and then sometimes you get items and stuff too that are like worth 100 or so.
Oh.
And you can pretty quickly do it within like 2 minutes if you're really fast.
Trust
And
me, I
so,
am.
yeah, so I've been grinding a bit there, and I'm gonna start doing some more story stuff and all that, but it's been pretty fun so far.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, I have had some random lag spikes, which I heard are on PC.
Yes.
It's just like a bad port or something, but it's not that often. I think one time when I was fighting that like tree knight, whatever his name is, that's near spawn,
Yeah.
or where you first come out, I think it did it once there and killed me. But other than that, it's not that often enough that it's really kills me or anything.
Yeah, but you have a pretty beefy computer.
At to a 3070 Ti.
Yeah. The
But
PC
it's
port
still-
is still
yeah.
pretty bad for Elden Ring.
Yeah.
As it like I know some people aren't even able to open it and it just crashes immediately. So
Yeah,
you're lucky. You got a good it's probably a mix of your computer specs and just I don't know, being lucky.
although I did for a while because I wasn't planning on getting it, but this past week I had been just so absolutely bored with nothing to do. I had to start like finding excuses to leave the house, so I'd like forget something at the grocery store and then go get it again, so I can waste like 40 minutes. And so I said, you know what, Elden Ring, I'm gonna suck at it, but that's like the best time waster if I suck at it, and so
it's a big game. So
it is very big.
Yeah, you're gonna be playing this for still a couple weeks. I haven't beaten it still.
I think I looked up like the times people take to beat it, and like the quickest time people beat it is like 40-50 hours.
Yeah, and that's probably just doing like main
Yeah,
line
that's
stuff.
just like, yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
I'm
it's
hoping I
very
can get a good at least 80 hours, if not a lot more on it. Probably a lot more.
You might get more depending on how much you venture out and find stuff. Because there's a
that's
lot of
like-
stuff to find.
That's like 80% of what I'm doing, just randomly exploring. So
Yeah.
I found quite a bit.
That's my favorite part of the game, just going out and finding
Oh, yeah.
cool things that they've done.
Yeah,
So-
usually you get a cool item and then it's not your class or your build, so you just get rid of it anyways. But other than that,
Okay, it's time to get down to the real question. What was your starting class?
I mean, it being my first Souls game is kind of obvious. It was Vagabond.
Wow.
What
You
am I
didn't-
gonna do? Go
you didn't
magic
choose
for my
Samurai?
first Souls? Like, no. What's the difference between like those two? Is there much of a difference between them?
The sword gives bleeding.
Oh,
It's pretty
you see,
good.
I didn't know bleeding existed, so
That's true. I guess I shouldn't be too harsh. But I guess I did do Vagabond in my first playthrough when I got it on the PC and played it for 2 hours and then refunded it. So I guess I don't have any position to judge. Babby might have
yeah.
a position to judge because I guess he hasn't made the same mistake.
True.
But he hasn't played the game, frankly.
Not yet.
Yeah.
but it's been pretty fun just maining one giant sword.
Oh, you've been doing big swords.
Oh yeah,
Big two hands.
I got the what is it like the great sword or something? That's like I don't know. I had to stop using a shield because otherwise I would be heavy load, and so I wanted to go down to medium load finally because I'd been heavy load for like the whole game until then.
Yeah, no fat rolling allowed.
You know, I didn't know that existed until I was watching a video of or a part of a stream that the streamer I watched, he was playing Elden Ring, and people were just saying in the comments, "Why is this dude fat rolling and stuff?"
Yeah.
And so I looked up what that was, and was like, "Oh, I didn't know that actually he slowed down and stuff." And so yeah, I mean, being Vegamon is kind of harder than at least be medium load. So
Yeah, I'm usually medium load.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't even know how you get light load and not die in one hit.
yeah,
Fast metabolism.
I suppose.
very very fast boy.
Yeah. So I guess we'll wait, and then once Babby plays it in 5 years, then we can.
I gotta get a graphics card. My PC can't handle it. I don't have a PS5 yet, so kind of stuck.
It's okay. I don't think, even if you see spoilers for the game, I don't think that's.
Oh, I already know what a lot of the bosses look like. I just want to play it.
Yeah.
It's one of those games where I don't care about it being spoiled, since it's more about like actually beating it.
Yeah.
Than it is.
The story
Yeah.
is not important.
Yeah.
As someone who has watched every single cutscene, the only one that's cool is General Radon, who's the big guy who has a little horse. I love that little horse so much. I don't know. I don't know. This dude is like 20 stories tall, and he's riding a regular horse. It's the best boss design I've probably ever seen.
Nice.
There's a lot of good boss designs.
Can't
And
wait
there
for that.
is. But that one's my favorite because I think he uses like a gravity spell so he can still ride his horse because his horse is his best bro. And that's some good lore. That's the
I like
only
the
lore
giant
I remember.
lobster.
There's a giant there's like a giant crab too.
Yeah.
Giant
crab.
snails. From Software like the giant things. They have like
yeah.
giant crows in Bloodborne, and like
And Elden
dragons.
Ring.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess in Bloodborne they're
different
more
crows.
like regular crows. They aren't
You know,
like
we
crow
got freaking man
dinosaurs.
crows.
Yeah, yeah.
All I heard about them is that they're a pain to kill and very deadly if you're only melee, and so I just stay away from them.
Yeah, I don't do magic because I'm not a nerd. I like playing the game like a real man. And yes, that is heteronormative. And I don't care, frankly.
You're a real man.
I guess we can move on. I'm going to give out a couple
Okay.
shout outs to things before we transition into the music segment. There has been, the streets have been talking, and there may or may not be a new David Lynch movie coming out soon.
Ayo.
Yeah. I don't have any reputable sources on this, but apparently there has been some rumblings that David Lynch is going to be at Cannes this year
Man.
in France.
Season 4, baby.
I doubt it. I think from what I have heard, it sounds like it's going to be a new movie, which is going to be the last thing. Well, his first new thing since the short film where he interviews a talking monkey on Netflix.
Sounds fun.
And then before that, it was Twin Peaks season 3. So he hasn't really done a movie in a while. So I'd be interested to see it. But that's one little movie shout out. Be on the lookout, maybe. And my other little bit of movie shout out, it's for a little indie film. Can you still call A24 movies indie films?
No, not at all.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I watched Macbeth, and that is definitely not an indie movie.
Yeah. It's just art house.
It's
But like it's
yeah.
not like not known. If that makes sense.
They aren't owned by like a major studio like MGM or 20th Century
Yeah.
Fox or Disney, but like
You
it's like
Disney.
Blumhouse. Like Blumhouse
Yeah.
is the biggest horror like production company out there. A24 is like that, but for like dark indie dramas. Sometimes there's horror because Midsummer is an A24. But they do like the artsy horror stuff. But they have a new movie. It's out right now. It's called Everything Everywhere All at Once. I have no idea what the movie's about. I've heard The Guardian gave it a 5 stars, which is impressive. And Edgar Wright said it's like his favorite movie of the year. So I'm like, I should probably check this out. And then I saw that Letterboxd, the absolute snootiest people on the planet Earth, the people at letterboxd.com, have rated it the highest rated movie of all time. It just beat Parasite.
Whoa.
Wait, Parasite was the top rated?
Parasite was. It beat The Godfather, which had it for years. And then Parasite took it over a couple years ago. And now it's Everything Everywhere All at Once. A movie that literally no one has heard about. But everyone who I've heard who's seen it has absolutely loved it. They've said that it's one of their favorite movies of all time. Unfortunately, none of the theaters near me are playing it, so I will have to wait. It seems to be a very select thing. It's like Cinemark is doing it because they like to play like some weird event stuff. But unfortunately, Greg Marcus hates cinema, and he hates movies, so he doesn't want this one to play. Even though he played The French Dispatch for me when like this theater was like the only one in Iowa that was playing it. Now he won't play this big Sandra Oh movie. So if you get a chance to watch it, check your local listings, because I think this one's going to be a big one. So yeah, there you go. Those are my 2 shout-outs. And now let's transition into everyone's favorite segment, the Babby Music segment.
Oh, yeah.
I do want to shout out Atlanta real quick because that's.
Oh, frick. I was going to talk
amazing.
about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Episode 4 of Atlanta.
Yes, sir.
It seems like the best episodes of this show aren't going to have Earn and Company in it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. It's just like Donald Glover's got things he needs to get off, so he just like makes episodes that aren't exactly like part of the story, and then they just absolutely slap hardcore.
Yeah. I mean, we know that he's going to be making another show after this that has Malia Obama listed as one of the writers. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, this one, I think we both said it's very similar to like a Black Mirror.
Yeah, he tried to make like a Black Mirror type thing.
But without, it's not like the focus is on technology. It's more just like an alternate universe where restitutions for slavery aren't put on the government, and it's put on individual people whose ancestors have owned slaves.
I viewed it as like a satire, as like if like I was an insecure white man who watches Fox News and is scared of like any of that, like that's what I would think would happen. Like what would happen when reparations is like said.
Yeah.
That's like kind of what I took it as.
Reparations? You mean I'm going to have to pay black people
Yeah, exactly.
money?
It's like it's definitely not a
no,
government thing that the government would pay into for like social funding. It's definitely they're taking my money personally. But I don't know. I love that he's just attacking white guilt so much throughout the series. It's really funny.
He really is.
It's such like a like there's a lot of heavy subject matter in the show, but it's just so hilarious. I like cracked up like laughing like 5 times during the 4th episode.
I do. Really I did too. There was that part where everyone in like this, we're following this main guy who's like, his ancestor owned slaves. And so one of the ancestors of the slaves is now demanding that he pay money. So he's like going around his office trying to like get advice on what to do. Cause this chick,
that was the best part.
So the chick that's suing him has this bullhorn. And she's like, this guy owes me $3 million. And she's just like going on all day while this guy's trying to work. And so he goes to one of his black coworkers and he's like, hey, I need some advice. What do you think I should do? And he's like, honestly, what you need to do is you need to sit down with her, you need to have a conversation, you need to give her some, and then it just cuts off, and then he's talking to some of his white coworkers.
It was so good.
It was like that might have been the only part I was like, I was so funny. That was such a good
great.
bit.
So true.
I love like the family tree stuff too. That was funny.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm a Jew. I'm good.
Yeah,
Let's go.
I'm a Jew. I'm 90 Ashkenazi Jew, and it's like
That's so funny.
his wife, who's like they're separated. She's like, no, that can't happen to me. I'm Peruvian. And then
Yeah.
he's like, Peruvian, you were white yesterday. It's definitely like a heavier show than it was. Like some of the episodes in seasons 1 and 2 are just kind of like funny. They're just more goofy.
And this season's funny too. It's just like
It
he's
is.
he's getting a lot better at like writing and performing like these wide social concepts.
Yes, and I
Like,
think we
this
need
episode
to,
1 and this one are like really really great.
and we definitely need to give some props to Hiro Murai, who has been
for
Donald
sure.
Glover's main. Like he directed This Is America too. So he's been with Donald Glover for a while, and he's been on all the seasons of Atlanta. And did he work with Donald Glover on that Beyonce movie? Or was it? No, it was him and Rihanna, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
On that Amazon? I don't care. I just know that Hiro Murai is a very talented director, because everyone on this show has been giving stellar performances. Even in episode 3, which wasn't as heavy as episodes 1 and 4, but that one also kind of
Also really
it
good.
was a lot of the, I think they had a lot to say about like the Twitter mob mentality, where they're like standing up for black people even if it isn't like a big deal to black people, and it's just a white thing where they're
I
like,
viewed it more as a white savior complex.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
where it's like
yeah.
they were more like, okay, we're overseas and this is how people treat things, and it's still like you're still being called out, even if it's not in a negative light. Your life just has this extra step no matter what, because even if someone's not like being racist towards you, it's like they're going out of their way to make sure that you know that they're not being racist. It's like this really weird thing.
Yeah, I saw it as a big attack on Twitter, just the Twitter liberal that we also like.
Or just 90% of people.
True.
Like this stuff
Yeah.
happens every day usually. It's very very common, so it's just really funny to see how they translate that stuff. And of course he's over the top, so it's just all these like
Yeah.
over the top exaggerations, and it's just really fantastic. But I don't know, he was not lying when he said Atlanta season 3 was going to be like the bomb.
I think what started it was people. I think this was people who had just seen Dave, but people were having conversations about what show was better, and Donald Glover got really angry that
Oh, I would be too. That's
people
just
were
straight up.
comparing Atlanta to Dave just
Yeah.
because they're two shows that musicians make. I don't know if I
Yeah.
want to call Lil Dicky
I don't know.
a
Yeah, I don't know if
musician.
Lil Dicky's a musician.
I guess I was gonna say rapper, but Donald Glover isn't necessarily just a rapper.
No, he's a musician.
He's a musician, but Lil Dicky is just a comedy rapper. Which I
Yeah.
guess if you took early Childish Gambino stuff, then you could say he's a comedy rapper.
Yeah, but even like his early stuff was a lot better than Lil Dicky's.
Well, for sure. Yeah.
Lil Dicky's just atrocious.
Which I've heard good things about Dave, but this is
I
from
just
our
can't stand that whole like thing.
yes.
in general.
This was also from our friend Grant, who also has the worst tastes in everything. So
Yeah.
I cannot trust him when it comes to anything. But he said he liked Dave, so it's probably a bad show. Just that's the Grant test.
The Grant test.
Okay, what about Grant Test? How does he like Elden Ring? Has he played Elden Ring?
I do not know.
could talk to him about
it. Gotta get that.
I doubt that he has played Elden Ring. That does not strike me as a Grant game. He likes
He would
Yeah,
like
I
it though
know.
if he played it, but
maybe. I don't
Has he
know.
played any Souls games?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play any either.
Yeah, I doubt it. He's more of like he plays a lot of like war games and Kerbal Space Program. Like,
I didn't know he played.
and I guess he plays Halo, which is a little bit more poppy, but I don't know. I'd have to ask him if he's ever played at Elden Ring. But but he has been enjoying Atlanta season 3. So that
good.
so we never know. Sometimes the
Using
Grant
his
test
talents.
checks out where it's like, yep, he likes everything that we don't like and he dislikes everything we actually like. But sometimes there's a little bit of overlap.
Sometimes it's a miracle.
Sometimes a work is so good that even Grant likes it. And that's a true sign of quality. So if that's not enough motivation to get people to watch Atlanta, then I don't know what is. So enough Atlanta talk. Talk about music for a minute.
Fine.
Just a minute.
Just a minute. Okay. We're doing something a little different. I'm going to start uploading these sections to the main channel as well. So welcome, main channel viewers.
Main channel.
We're getting some crossover because I feel like I talk about a lot of records and then they never get talked about on the main channel because we don't have time to react to everything because we are human beings.
Yes.
And that would just be insane. So I want to feel like I'm talking about things and actually have more of a discussion around it.
Okay.
And so people know what we're, listening to in a more casual format.
True.
Instead of having to do a full reaction of things because there's a lot of stuff coming out. I want to make sure people know what we're listening to. But this week was pretty big.
Yes.
Very big, actually.
There
was
big week.
7 albums that came out.
Yeah.
I listened to 3. I still have a couple I need to catch up with, but that'll be for next week. I guess we'll start with last week because I did miss one last week. It was the Dreamville Gangsta Grills mixtape.
Wow.
I just didn't get to it, but got to it this week. Pretty cool. I mean, there's nothing too crazy about it. It's just a whole bunch of bangers. Stick, the opener's pretty sick. You got Jid, J. Cole, Kenny Mason, and Sheck West on a track. It's pretty insane. And then you got, DJ Drama just yelling over it. It's a good time.
Gotta love
DJ Drama. When I was a Grammy, by the way.
Oh, true. Yeah. Oh, we do need to talk about that too.
Oh yeah, we should probably talk about the Grammys eventually. We'll do that last. But I mean, pretty good mixtape. It's kind of hit or miss, just because some people carry their weight a lot more. I feel like Earth Gang kind of let everybody down on this one more, but they just released their album, so I'm sure they weren't giving too much thought to this.
Yeah.
But Ari Lennox killed her songs in this. I feel like the R&B's tracks that they gave her were a little stale, but her vocal performance killed it. She's fantastic. I feel like she's due for a new record. But a couple of cool J. Cole things on there as well, but kind of cool. This week then we got new Pusha T song, Neck and Wrist with Jay-Z and Pharrell.
Oh, it's not a new diss track on McDonald's?
It's not a new diss track on McDonald's.
Oh, that's too bad.
But the song is very good. This is from the Pharrell side of the album. I don't know when the album's coming out, but I'm assuming it's going to be very soon. But he's doing a very different style than his other records, so it'll be interesting to see how people perceive it. Some people were calling this whack, but that was also on the Kanye side of Twitter, so you can never trust them. I think it's really great. People were saying that Jay-Z was offbeat. To those people, I ask, what are you listening to? These dudes don't know what syncopation is, I guess, because he did the beat better than Pusha did, honestly.
Wow.
I mean, it's Jay-Z.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, so good track. I feel like there's still nothing that's blown me away to the fact of what Daytona did. Although Daytona was short, it was in your face. It was just packed full. So I feel like I need the full record to really, really get what I want out of this. Mm-hmm. But Schoolboy Q is back too. Soccer Dad. I'm guessing this is a single to whatever he's doing next. It's been a minute for him too, but this is TDE, so I don't know.
I was gonna ask. Yeah, I was pretty sure this guy's TDE.
Yeah, he's TDE, so I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But this track's pretty good. again, I'm ready for more Schoolboy Q. He makes really great album experiences, so I'm excited for that. But Soccer Dad's pretty good. Nothing too crazy again, but like, I don't know, a lot of great rap tracks this week. Tom York did the second half of that like Peaky Blinders soundtrack singles thing. I think we talked about that a few weeks ago.
We did.
So he dropped the second part to that. So it's That's How Horses Are. Again, just he plays a piano and sings. It's really good. It's just what he does. The Smile also released a song. Again, I don't know when the album's coming out, but they've released 4 songs, but I don't know. Please just release it at this point. This one seems like a Moon-Shaped Pool and King of Limbs crossover, making it my favorite, obviously. It's kind of haunting, kind of chill. The orchestration build on it is really, really pretty. The album art is disgusting, but like the song's really great, so it's fine.
Yeah, that doesn't look very great.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. I really like the letterpress type and stuff. I know Stanley Donwood's doing his thing to it, and I love his work. But like, I mean, skirting on the surface and Panavision, like, stop with the high contrast Christmas colors.
Yeah.
A little weird. But yeah, those were singles. This week we got new Vince Staples, new Billy Woods, new Father John Misty. There's a Pink Floyd single as well. We got a Pink Floyd single.
That's true.
It's okay. I mean,
You're saying it isn't the best Pink Floyd song ever?
It's like, no, not at all. Wow. I mean, it's just for like a Ukrainian humanitarian aid. So
okay.
Go ahead, stream it, do whatever you need to do. It's an okay song. It's just what I expected. Kind of like, hey, let's just do this. Yeah, I mean, with Pink Floyd though, it's like there's no possibility that you could live up to anything because of Pink Floyd.
Well, of course. Yeah.
It's all right though. But yeah, Father John Misty, Billy Woods, Vince Staples, 5 Foreign, Jack White.
Oh, heck yeah. Jack White.
Jack White. I have not listened to Jack White or 5 Foreign.
Wow.
I'll have to get to those later. I feel like people are saying the Jack White record's a little weird.
It's a Jack White record.
It is a Jack White record, so I expect that. But I don't know what weird means to other people anymore anyways.
That's true. You've been on your weird kick.
I've been on a weird kick. But we do have a reaction for the Father John Misty recorded. That'll be coming out next week, so we won't be talking about it.
Not
here.
No. Yeah, but we did a whole video on it.
Yes, so you'll be seeing that in your subscriber box if you are subscribed, which you should be.
Subscribe now.
Next week. So, but it is very good. Spoiler alert.
Yes, I've been enjoying.
Let's get to. We'll do Vince Staples first.
Okay.
Ramona Park Broke My Heart. Highly anticipated. I've been waiting on this one. I do think it is a very good. I don't know if it's as good as a self-titled because I'm a big advocate for that album. That was a sneaky one. It's short, it's sweet, and it just crept my way into my playlist and like in the summer and for the whole rest of the year. It's just unbelievably catchy. But this one's more fleshed out, 16 songs as opposed to the 10 songs, double the length. We heard Magic and Rose Street, both pretty good. But in full album mode, this is just a vibe fest again. So pretty much the same kind of thing as the self-titled. It's very smooth, very laid back. This one's even more introspective than the last one, though. I know some people were not too crazy about this, but they also weren't crazy about the self-titled. So I think it's just gonna have to grow. I think it's gonna be very similar to that Isaiah Rashad record last year, where people were like, "Why is he just like very like lazily mumbling through the songs, or why is he so laid back to the point where the beat's just carrying him?" I don't agree with that at all. But like, a lot of people said that initially, and then it warmed up to them. So, I think the same thing's going to happen with this one. I mean, Vince has never stayed the same throughout any album, so I think people will probably adapt to it, hopefully, because again, I don't want to sound like Vince Staples is being slept on, but like his past 2 records have been really great, and people are not really like feeling him as much, which is weird. Just because like I feel like he's matured so much. Like these are very introspective records. And I mean, there's a couple bangers on here too. Nothing like Summertime '06, but I don't think we'll ever get another banger fest like Summertime '06.
Yeah.
I mean, North North just goes hard. It's like one of the best songs of the last decade. But I feel like this one is a very cohesive. It's very chill. Like there's some fun parts. There's some very very introspective parts. When Sparks Fly has to be like top 5 Vince Staples song ever. He pulled a Mariah Carey and did like a Mobb Deep drum sample on like a soul R&B beat.
Oh.
And it came across awesome. He took a little bit of Peggy influence. I don't know if this was intentional or not, because Peggy has that Grammy waifu song where he raps about like a gun being like his girl or whatever.
Yeah.
Vince Staples elevates that and makes it a whole song, and like it really really works well. That beat is like insane. Yeah, When Sparks Fly is definitely the best song on this record. I think that's kind of the consensus as well. But yeah, that song is like transcendent of like everything else here. Like right after Magic, and then like this little vocal snippet, and then into When Sparks Fly. Like I listened to the first half of this record driving home, and like it sounds great in the car. It was just the whole record flows so seamless. It's really fantastic. I guess East Point Prayer I was a little on, just because like Vince sounded good on it, but Lil Baby's on that song, and I feel like their styles clash.
Oh.
It's a weird combo because Vince is so like accurate. Even when he's laid back, he's very like precise. And Lil Baby has like that weird auto tune effect on him at all times. I think you know what I'm talking about. Just like that very like, there's like always a noise coming from his vocal.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like very, I don't want to say mumbly, but it's all tied together. So like this beat is super laid back and chill, and Kenny Beats killed it, but Lil Baby over it feels like he kind of like overshadows the beat and then just kind of does his own thing over it. It doesn't really sound that good.
Yeah.
But I really like the first half of the song, so it's kind of unfortunate. But Lemonade with Ty Dolla Sign's pretty cool. Again, I don't think he needed any features on this record. I think I would have liked it more without any features. Just because it does feel so personal. But I think this is going to be one that gets a ton of replay value again. I really love this direction of him doing these very easy listening tracks that are very introspective. And like the verses aren't as dense as the self-titled from what I can tell so far. The self-titled had to like unravel for me. But this one just sounds really, really great. The production's amazing. I don't mind the laid backness of it at all. He's very, very good at what he does, and I like this direction of him. Just kind of like going with the flow. And especially when he's talking about like, I think the main theme that I'm getting here is like, he might not be like gang banging in the streets anymore or anything, but like there's a lot of lines about like he still has nightmares when he's daydreaming. Like he can't escape this thing. So even when the songs he's talking about like how he used to do that, he sounds so tired of it and so exhausted and so like over it. Like he doesn't even want to be doing like talking about it anymore, and that comes across in his delivery. And I think that's where people are confusing the not caring versus like this is intentional, because like this is how this man feels. He feels like he's 80 years old just because like he's had to live through all this crap and it never is going to leave him.
Is it like T-Pab?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some T-Pab comparisons on his last record too, with like the way he's talking about these things. But yeah, it's very good. I still feel like people listen to it once and they're like, eh.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't getting crazy like hype turn up songs. But I feel like the self-titles was definitely needed before this. Otherwise, this record would have been a big shock to everybody, because it is very different than his other works.
Yeah.
But I'm on the train for new Vince Staples stuff. I think these last 2 records are fantastic. So don't sleep.
I won't do it.
Good.
I haven't listened to any of his stuff. I should probably listen to the self-titled, because it is 20 minutes or something
Yeah,
like that.
it's so catchy. It's a really good like intro
Yeah.
to him. Summertime '06 is like insane. So I don't know if I'd start with that one.
Okay.
It's a little crazy. Although those songs being performed live is amazing. Summertime '06 stuff. Those were fantastic when I saw them live. But yeah, I think I'm gonna put Denzel over this one a little bit.
Denzel's
Just, like,
great.
Yeah, the Denzel
That one's
record
awesome.
is awesome.
Yeah.
I guess for people on the main channel, if you want to hear our thoughts on the new Denzel Curry, you can go to our podcast channel or on streaming services and We
That
talked
was
about
just
that
last week.
before this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've also been doing deep dives into Godspeed You Black Emperor and Slint. So if you want to hear my thoughts on those, you can go ahead and go back. But from now on, we'll be doing this on the main channel so you can be caught up. I wish I
Very
would have done
cool.
it earlier. I've been thinking about it. I just didn't do it yet.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the main attraction this week. Billy Woods. Of course, it's going to be Billy
William
Woods.
Wood.
William Woods, Ethiops. Stop giving me hard album titles to pronounce. Ethiops.
Ethiops?
I think it's Ethiops. Because it's like Ethiopia.
Well, yeah, probably.
I'm just gonna go with that. But
Okay.
Sounds good,
first
man.
solo record since 2019. He's been doing. I think there was 2 Armand Hammer records between his last and this one, and then
Yeah.
that one with More Mother. So
Yeah,
kind of a big
it's
gap.
been a minute.
He's been very active, but like, I mean, his solo stuff has been in the backseat. But this one, fully produced by Preservation, who's done a record with Most Def, or I guess Most Def was under the Yazimbe user, like at that point. I think I don't remember what album it was.
It wasn't
It's the one where he's
Most-
jumping across the roof. I don't remember the name of it.
Oh.
But this album is like insane. I was not ready, which I should have been. I've been waiting for this for a while.
Yeah.
But when you start the album with Asylum and you're just immediately overwhelmed, I'm like, yep, this is definitely a Billy Woods album. The pure density of the first like 4 lines of this record, I'm like, you cannot just come in blasting like that. And like, it starts as the album's production is a mix of like underground 2000s era New York hip hop mixed with like jazz mixed with spaghetti western. It's all over the place, but it fits so well. Every song transitions into another. I think that's a big thing that he's kind of been gravitating towards, because Haram, every song bled into each other. Brass was very kind of jumbled but still flowed together. Shrines was kind of like that as well. So I think he's more on this flowing together thing, which works really well with this record just because it is such like a, like, this one would make your brain explode. Like, I was like, after this record, I was like, I need to take a breath. That was way too much.
Yeah.
And then we recorded Father Met John Misty, and then that was way too much as well. But
But that one sounded nice.
yeah. This one sounds insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just going hard immediately on Asylum. This record has a very like, he's taken the stuff from Brass that I really liked, where it's very dark and sinister, and kind of witchcrafty, which is kind of the word I've been using for that record. That comes over on here, and like just like broken pianos, out of tune strings, very atmospheric things, like, and then he just every song he does could like literally just be written down and sold as like a poetry book, and nobody would know it's a rap song. There's too much care taken in every single lick syllable here.
Yeah.
And it's just too much because like you pick up on ones every once in a while, but Billy Woods albums typically take like months to like dissect and truly get the most out of. It's music that like truly like rewards further listening. So I get addicted to that stuff because like I love being rewarded for continued listening, because the music sounds so great anyways, but then as you keep going, it just more unravels. But feature wise, I knew it was going to hopefully be like a throwback to like Def Jux era 2000s New York underground, and it definitely is when you have LP and everybody on this. These beats are incredible. The transitions from like Christine into Heavy Water is insane. The album from Asylum to Doldrums is like, okay, this is where I can tell what songs are which. We're good. And then Ninex starts, and the whole record just derails into this insanity. You have Elucid rapping over a harmonica, which is insane, and it's the Elucid where he just goes really fast. So this record's like constantly just getting hit in the face after like a very like dark and sinister slow instrumental. It'll just pick up, and there's a very good feeling about like how it's paced as well. It's not like breakneck, like slow into fast. It's like a crescendo almost. But like, oh, it's so good. Elucid, Quelle, Chris on one track together, awesome. Christine starts slow and then builds up during the end, and then into Heavy Water, which Heavy Water's instrumental is basically like it has to be like a very inspired like LP beat, like back in the day, like 2002, because like it is cluttered, it's noisy, it sounds like just the bustling of New York. It's insane. And then Billy, LP, and Breeze Bruin just all go back to back. They switch off verses, so all three of them are just rapping back to back. And like, if anybody's listened to an LP solo record, you know that those are incredibly dense. A Billy Woods track could like have someone writing a research paper for like 3 days. Um, and Breeze Bruin just brings like an insane energy. So like that song is like overstimulation for sure, but like at the same time it goes so hard. That might be the best song on the record. I'm not sure yet. But there's so many quotables across the whole thing, and Billy Woods records and Arm & Hammer records are just like those lyrics just get stuck in my head and just replay over and over again. And then one day it clicks, and then I understand like the true meaning behind them usually. But I mean, they just sound so good, even if there is like a deep meaning to them. It's still like these are really sticky and catchy lines. But the whole thing flows really well. Remorseless, I guess the back half of the record slows down a little bit. The record like starts and it starts really fast, slows down a little bit, gets really insane in that middle part, and then kind of slows down again. It's only a 40-minute record, which usually Billy Woods records are like near an hour. But there's kind of like an evolution here, I think, after he's done all these collaborative projects. I think he's coming back with new ideas and perspectives. But yeah, this is rap album of the year for sure. I kind of thought it was going to be. That's why I wanted to make such a point of Denzel last week. I'm like, this record is really, really great, but I'm gonna have to dethrone it next week probably.
Yeah, man, I love that
That's true.
Denzel record though.
It is really good.
Yeah.
And it's very catchy too. Like, oh, so good. Yeah, these past like 3 weeks for hip hop have been fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to like keep digging into this record. So I feel like I haven't really even scratched the surface on what's happening here. But as always, it's like dark comedy mixed with like real, just depressive mental illness thoughts, societal issues, Western ideals versus like African ideals. Africa is an idea versus like an actual continent. Like all these Billy Woods things that usually come up. It's just a spiral of all of these in between like very disorienting beats. But yeah, in terms of his solo records, this is probably up there. I'd probably put it top 3 like so far.
Wow.
I think Hiding Places is an absolute masterpiece, flawless album. I think that album is anybody who gets like synesthesia or anything for music, like that album will transport you to another world for sure. It's like you're just walking like on a sidewalk in New York, like you're like a fly on the wall in downtown New York, like at night. It's just like you're flying through these like dark, like more poor neighborhoods of New York. It's terrifying. It's brilliant. Hiding Places is like insane, but yeah, I think it's probably I don't know. I think I'd tie it with History Will Absolve Me, because History Will Absolve Me was definitely a big bang last decade. But yeah, this thing is really, really fantastic. So if anybody's into experimental hip hop and have not heard this, give it a try. I think you'll like it.
I feel like if they're into experimental hip hop, they already know about Arm & Hammer and Billy Woods.
Yeah, you'd be surprised though. I feel like Haram was the first record that really got more ears on them just because Alchemist was doing stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, it's always like a thing where it's like there's very specific like genres of experimental hip hop that people either cross over or don't cross over into.
I suppose. Yeah, I think I've heard you talk about them for so long. At this point, it's like, oh yeah, Arm & Hammer. They're like, they're a known group at this point. But I guess not.
I feel like they're known in a small little sphere.
Okay.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. It's definitely acquired taste because like some people could listen to this, and if they're not paying attention to lyrics, you're not going to get much out of it. Just because like I get overwhelmed listening to these because there's so much packed in a verse, and like if you're not listening to verses, you're going to have to really enjoy like the ride of the instrumental, or you're not really going to get much out of it.
I probably would
But,
hate
like,
it.
Yeah, but if you like get in there, it's like, ooh boy, I don't know how you pack this much into one little verse. But yeah, check it out. Some other things coming down the pipeline.
Oh my.
Elucid's dropping a solo record in June, so
So both.
both. I guess they're taking a little Arm and Hammer break for some solo records, which they're both due for solo records. So I'm excited for that. I feel like Elucid's good. He's really good. But like when your partner's Billy Woods, like Billy Woods, I would put as the best rapper like currently active. But I think Elucid's getting there. He's a very different rapper. He's very psychedelic. But so that'll be coming in June. And Black Star is releasing an album.
Wait, you're talking about Mos Def and Talib Kweli, correct?
Yes. Yep. They're releasing their first album in 24 years.
You're not yanking my chain, are you?
I'm not. It's coming out May 3rd. It is entirely produced by Madlib.
Oh, frick.
There was rumors of this for like years at this point. Now it's actually coming. The kicker is that it's going to be released on a podcasting platform.
Oh.
But it's releasing on like a Tuesday, so I'm hoping they pull it on streaming services on a Friday.
Why would they put it on a podcast network?
I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but the record was like recorded in hotel rooms. There was no studio, like at all.
Okay.
It was just done in hotel rooms and backstage at Dave Chappelle shows.
I'm getting less excited the more you talk about it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think it'll be on streaming services eventually. If not, I'm sure there's going to be a way to figure it out. I don't know.
I want to do a video about that.
I would love to do a video on it.
I'm such a big fan of the first one since we did our video on it. Wow. One of the best New York hip-hop albums ever.
For sure.
Especially in the 90s. Especially 90s hip-hop.
Yeah, and you haven't really done a Madlib album yet.
No, but I've heard good things.
That's like an unfair combo. Like, you have Mos Def, Yasin Bey. I guess he's going by Yasin Bey now. He has been for a while. And Talib Kweli. And then with Madlib. That's too much of a cheat code, to be fair.
Yeah.
And there is a song out for it. I don't think it's a final version. At least I hope it's not a final version. But there was one that I heard earlier today, and it was featuring Black Thought. So you have Black Thought, Yasin Bey, Talib Kweli, and Madlib on one song.
Frick.
Absolute insanity. That snippet was not very good, just because like I think that was a non-mastered version because the vocals were very like it was not a good mix. Everything was very flat. But I'm sure that wasn't the mastered like final cut of it. If it is, I don't know what they're doing.
Probably not.
But I hope not. I mean, judging by the album cover and everything, there's gonna be like a very like low key, lo-fi, like mixtape type feel of an album. I think, which is fine when you have people that are like the best at just barring out, you know.
Yeah.
And Madlib's a wizard, so.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think the biggest part will be like having expectations somewhat reasonable, even though this is like the best combo you could ever ask for.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, I guess I don't know. Do Talib Kweli and Mos Def, do they still like do stuff? Like I know Talib Kweli was just on that Tribe record a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But like do they still
they're not very active. I know Talib Kweli does like a podcasting show. But those are the guys that like don't lose steam.
Yeah.
Just because they haven't like burnt out their catalog. They're very rare. When they come back, they're back.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a very interesting record, but I'll just have to like cap expectations a little bit. We'll see if it even releases on streaming first.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like I don't mind the podcasting thing, because I want to know like what this service is.
It's Rumble.
It's Luminary. I don't know if
Oh.
it's their. I feel like it's their service, but I could be wrong.
Is it like a title thing, where like
Yeah.
Jay-Z and Beyonce put all their stuff on title
Maybe it could be. It's just weird that they're doing that. I could see it like if they 100% owned it or something. I could see that because like people are gonna buy it. Like you could physically get away with doing something like that for an album like this. Like,
Yeah.
if you wanted to sell a stem player, this is the album to put put on the stem player.
first? True.
Not whatever Donda 2 was, that
Right.
trash pile. Like,
You gotta have like a big pull
yeah,
like
and this has a
this.
huge pull.
for sure.
Because this, you have like every aspect of hip hop. And hopefully even the younger kids like would be like, oh, hey, yo. Because they at least know Madlib, because Madlib's still active.
True. Yeah, he does the Freddie Gibbs stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's coming next month.
That's pretty epic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
This was all hip hop this week, I guess.
No, Father John Misty.
And that one, but we'll talk about that
We'll talk about that in a couple
next
weeks.
Monday. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But I think that's all I got.
okay.
I can just do a double check real quick here.
Yeah, make sure.
But I always forget something, so there will be something forgotten. But I think that's all I have. But really great music week. So
Didn't
we got
talk
Kate
about-
Bush coming out this week. So
Today.
today or
Later
or
today.
tomorrow or whenever I post
Whenever
this
you
video.
post this on the main channel. On the
Yeah.
the podcast comes out the same day as the video. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're listening to this in the podcast, this is a little confusing. But our Kate Bush review will come out later today at 1. So
Yes. We upload every Monday, I guess.
every
that's the
Monday
easy
at
way.
1 p.m. So no matter
sir.
when Babby drops this, that's when you can expect our Kate Bush reaction.
Yes.
So
And I've been seeing a lot of the comments for other things, so
well, yeah,
we see them. Don't worry. It's just we're very slow since we only record once a week, and we've got a lot of stuff.
we have stuff to do that isn't video related.
Yes.
We have lives. Believe it or not.
What?
It's a crazy
YouTubers
thought.
can't have lives. Are you kidding me?
Whoa.
Crazy thought.
But we'll try to get to those. I know, like specifically, Arca has been mentioned a lot.
It has
I
been.
really want to get into Arca. I have a feeling Jerry's not going to like it, so
Okay.
I think if we do kick one and you don't like it, I think I might just branch off and do the other 4 if I like it.
Okay.
Just like because I would like to explore all of them.
I have no idea what to expect. Her album
I
covers
don't
have
think you're
been-
gonna like it, but
Well,
we
okay.
will see. I think her music is very out there.
Well, I mean, these album covers are freaky.
Yeah,
But yeah, didn't she
She's
do
a
like
little
the
wild.
first, like the 5 kicks were like in. Like
so
over
she
the
did
course of
one, I think, in 2020, and then the other 4 last year.
That's crazy.
So
That's some
We'll
King Gizzard turnaround,
really is.
which we're still waiting on. Omnium
We are
Gederium.
still whatever that is. We are waiting on that as well. So if that's below, well, if it's not an insane length, we might do a reaction to that. I think.
I wouldn't mind doing that.
Yeah.
I like King Giz.
Will be some good King Gizzard.
I'm hoping that I land on a good on this next wheel because I want to do some paper mache dream balloon. I think that'll be
True.
my next good pick.
Okay.
Because
I just want to get like Arca going. So if I can get a yikes somehow, then like
I mean, it happened. It just happened. We did Corey
that
Feldman.
did happen to you. Yep. And that was an
That was
experience.
that was my first yikes.
It was.
Probably the worst decision I've ever made.
Yeah.
An even worse decision is that now that that's done, what's taken its place is Doug Walker's The Wall.
God.
So,
Whew. All right.
but I have a suspicion that I'm actually going to enjoy Doug Walker's The Wall more than I did Corey Feldman because then at least I'm listening to The Wall, which is good music.
Yeah, but
But-
it's bootlegged.
I could be completely wrong and I could hate it.
I'm just gonna hate it for
Probably.
the sentiment.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
We'll
see.
cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah,
I
we'll
guess.
get there. Eventually. So,
Hopefully not.
is that it? Is that it for?
That's all I have this week.
Okay.
That's all.
Well, then I guess I should probably look and see if I can get on Luminary, because I think it would be good if our network is on this, our podcast is on the same network as Black Star.
That's true.
I think that could really help drive some traffic.
A lot of crossover.
Yeah. I'll go ahead. I'll see what I need to do, but I will have to, you're still recording, so I'll just have you record the rest of this podcast. I'll send you the first half, and then you guys can keep talking while I look up this Luminary stuff.
Great.
Okay, so you guys can just keep
I
talking.
just stopped recording, so that might be an issue for you.
You stopped recording?
good.
I just told you to plan that we are going to... I need you to keep recording so that I can leave and do this.
Sorry, my hard drive ran out of space.
I was about to freak out that Babby and I would have to carry something, which means I would have to carry something because he doesn't talk much.
Yeah, I just talked for
Well, I
30
was
minutes
scared for a
before you.
second there.
It would be pretty epic to be on the same network as Lena Dunham.
Yeah.
Her
Big
podcast is called The C Word. I don't know what that means. I
like that.
I wish it said what it was, because I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I would like to know what that C word is.
Yeah, it's
Could be many
probably
things.
kooky.
Probably no, guys. Guys.
Crazy.
It's seed these nuts.
Ooh.
How dare
Oh.
you? How dare you?
How
I think it's probably C is for cut.